It's time to do a new movie review roundup. These are movies that came out last year or in the last 2 years that I've watched recently. These are quick 1 minute reviews, do a quick plot summary, and then give you my opinion. First movie is Broker from 2022 by the Japanese master director Koreeda. This is a Korean film actually set in Korea. Very promising kind of tense plot where a woman gives away a baby at a church, but there are two hucksters who take the baby and they're going to go sell it. She has regrets. She teams up with them and maybe they're all going to sell it together. Meanwhile, there are two female cops watching them, staking them out, and hopefully going to catch them. There's a lot of promise in this movie. Koreeda is really, really good in a lot of ways. My problem with this movie is that this is a tale as old as time in terms of movies. The 3 men and a baby, 2 men and a girl sorts of plots. And the movie is very humanistic. It's more interested in the humanistic concerns even of the crooks or the scam artists who have a heart here, who are described in great detail, including every character really is. I like that about the movie, but it's too much of a sort of a cliched plot, and everyone's going to be a family at the end of the story, or like at least by the middle of it. So I'm not as big a fan of this as probably I would want to be. Next up is The Brutalist from this past year, which got nominated for an Oscar unbelievably, and this is a great movie in the sense it's $10 million. It's unbelievable that everyone says this, that it's made for $10 million when you watch it, but it's 3.5 hours long. I think it's an extremely long movie about a Jewish immigrant coming to America, brutalist architecture, I think from Hungary, and then he's doing work for the ultimate WASP figure, WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, played by Australian Guy Pearce, whom I love. And so the movie has, I think, a great soundtrack. The composer for this movie, his name escapes me, I need to look him up, it's great in this. Corbett has great visualizations. He's got a good master's eye, but this movie is extremely long. It's not about brutalist architecture. So going into it, my expectations were kind of trash because there's hardly any concrete structures in this. Much less so than The Breakfast Club, which features a brutalist-inspired school in it. For example, there's many movies that have brutalist sorts of architecture, modernist architectures. The movie is more about a man and getting screwed over, unfortunately, literally as well as metaphorically, by a more powerful man. We've seen this movie a lot. I see it as a complaint movie, unfortunately, despite the great grand aesthetics, and so I do not like it at all. At least parts of it. It's a wonderful movie to watch. Maybe Corbett has a great sensibility about him and great stuff coming in the future, but I don't see it in this movie at all, unfortunately, although a lot of you have liked this one. Now let's get to something I like. I actually recommend almost everybody, surprisingly, William Friedkin's last film, The Caine Mutiny Court-Martial. This is actually sort of based on the 1950s movie with Humphrey Bogart, The Caine Mutiny, about a mutiny on an American ship. This is all trial. It looks like one of those Law and Order shows that you've seen on TV your grandparents watch or whatever. But Friedkin is a master, in my opinion, and the ending is extremely complicated. So first of all, this is very different than Law and Order. Second, this has Kiefer Sutherland and one of my favorites, Jason Clarke, who features in the movie as the defense attorney helping the guy who did the mutiny get off, while they sort of prosecute Commander Queeg, played by Kiefer Sutherland in this movie. This movie has zero fat in it. It is extremely efficient. It is almost all single room, almost all talking. It assumes you're a thinking adult, able to follow along and listen. It is not how movies treat people these days. But the performance by Clarke in the ending really got me. I can strongly recommend this to a lot of people who like these sort of military trial movies, something like Breaker Morant. It's not that good, but it's decently good. And so this is the thing I'm gonna recommend over and against The Brutalist. Next up is Eddington, a modern western about COVID taking place during the COVID pandemic, reminding us all of that insanity. Whatever you think of the COVID insanity, it's going to remind you of that. Joaquin Phoenix plays a sheriff in this who is going to run for mayor of this little town of Eddington, with Pedro Pascal being the actual mayor he's running against. They have a personal history problem as well as this political problem. Director Astor, I loved his last movie with Phoenix in it, Beau is Afraid. I think he's a very promising director. He knows a ton about movie history. He's a very, very good director already. I don't love the script of this. I think the script has a lot of kind of basic problems, and the movie is almost split into halves, and the second half sort of changes. Something happens with the Phoenix character, which I didn't buy at all. I didn't think the first half set that up very well, at least not for me. And then it turns into a No Country for Old Men, sort of conspiracy thriller, mystery shootout kind of thing. It's a weird ending, which is it actually has an AI data center in it, which is sort of a nice way to talk about our social political consciousness in the last 5 years, going out of COVID into AI. I thought that was really interesting. This movie has a lot of smartphone stuff in it, which I really appreciate, but it didn't cohere for me, but I will probably watch it again. I do like Aster a lot for a lot of reasons, as I said, and so maybe this will grow on me. Maybe we'll figure it out a little bit better. Maybe this will watch better the second time. I don't know if I recommend it, but it's at least okay to pretty good. Another movie I'm recommending, and I don't know, I'm a gamer somewhat. I do play a decent amount of video games, is this movie Grand Theft Hamlet. I've read a lot of Shakespeare. There's a Shakespeare book right behind me all the time. I took a Shakespeare course in grad school. So here in Grand Theft Hamlet, another COVID movie where two British actors try to put on the play Hamlet within Grand Theft Auto Online during COVID. They're out of work. This movie is not just your typical like YouTube streamer thing. It is an attempt to make a movie out of video game footage, a documentary about what's like to be in COVID, questions about acting, questions about whether these mass online video game platforms, including ones that you just kill each other over and over like in Grand Theft Auto, have any social coherence. Can you make friends out of this? Can you actually put on art? Is a theater a thing that can be done within a shooter-based world like Grand Theft Auto? I found this movie as decently complex. I'm fascinated by the idea itself. I like the attempt to make a movie out of almost all video game footage. That's all it is, except for a brief little coda at the end of the movie. If you like Hamlet and you're interested in games, which they find out in the movie, there's not a lot of people interested in pairing those two up. There's some really interesting, funny moments in this. And I thought this was a pretty darn good documentary overall. I would recommend it at least to some of you. And then the last movie in this video, one of my favorites, Finnish director Aki Kaurismäki did Fallen Leaves. This is in 2023. It came out, I think, massively in 2024. I would always recommend his movies. I think they're always at least pretty good to very good. Now, Fallen Leaves, it reminds me of all the other movies he's done. It's very similar to the 80s and 90s stuff. He's two down-and-out Finnish people in a classic Hollywood love story, but it's done in a dark, cold, extremely dry humor way that Kaurismäki loves, come together in this, even though they're unemployed, they're being fired by stupid bosses. They have sort of a humdrum life, and this is a extremely funny movie if you like your humor really freaking dry. If you've never watched a Kaurismäki movie, this would be a good one to start with. I think his older ones are a little bit better. They hit me better here. But overall, this is like a bunch of great-looking Edward Hopper paintings with a heart to them. Reminds you of classic Hollywood, in at least a little bit. He is referring to tons of older movies, lots of movie posters in this. I definitely recommend trying him out if you've never seen him. For those of you who have, this will be a familiar territory. Something this is his greatest movie, but I certainly recommend this to most people. So summing up, I think the Caine Mutiny Court Martial is for everybody, including families that like sort of headier stuff with good, solid, very good movie acting. Fallen Leaves is a good one for any thinking adult, any feeling adult, likes dry humor. And then Grand Theft Auto, if you like video games and Shakespeare. I don't know who that is, but I think this is a pretty interesting experiment. Overall, what do you think of any of these movies? What do you think of any of the recent spate of movies? I didn't cover these individually in individual reviews. I thought I'd put them all together here for you. Please write back and check out my Substack and Letterboxd, where I actually write at least a little bit to a lot about all of these movies. You can always get my written content there as well. Thank you, have a good day, and of course, please subscribe.